there's a video going around with Joe Schilling, a former Bellator fighter.
Yeah.
You've probably seen it, right? From a
I've seen it, yeah.
perspective of a police officer, what do you see?
See, it's hard. Schilling, he was walking by him. The guy did like a little flinch at him.
Yeah.
You can make the argument. That's the thing. You can make the argument that the guy was, he was going to hit Joe, or that's what Joe believed was going to happen. So in Joe's defense, he defended himself. But then you could also make the case that, Joe was there the whole night. Joe knew how he was. He knew that maybe he was drinking. Maybe, the guy's whole party was drinking. It's he should have handled it better. You can make the argument for both cases. It's very difficult. I don't know what to do with that, because that's it's a weird thing. And that's, obviously you do what you have to do. Someone's, he's that in Philadelphia, that would be considered aggravated assault, because he knocked him unconscious. He lost his consciousness. That's automatic aggravated assault. So obviously Joe will be getting locked up for that. So, but whether or not the charges would be filed on him, whether or not they would go through the court proceedings, that's a whole different thing. But at least he would be locked up that night, probably, depending on if he was still there. So it's a shitty situation, because from Joe's side of the story, the guy was being an asshole the whole time. He was, saying racial slurs the whole time. He was being drunk. He was being rude and all that, especially to the wait staff and the waiters. So does that make it right? No, but, it's, I don't know.
The law's the law, right?
The law is the law. Yes, the law is the law. But, it's kind of like a weird thing. Like he made that the motion that he was going to hit Joe. So like I said, Joe does have that self-defense aspect to it, where the guy flinched at him. Joe stepped back, hit him with the cross hook, and dropped him right there. And what's really good is, I don't think in the video Joe didn't follow up on anything. He just hit him with the cross hook, and the guy dropped, and that was it. So that really works in Joe's favor. But it's the totality of the circumstances that, is what plays a factor. Could you prove that Joe knew that the guy was looking for a fight? Was the guy even looking for a fight? Was he being rude to everyone that walked by? Was Joe's seat right there? Did Joe have to walk by him? Could he have walked around? Could he have went a different way? Maybe he was going outside the smoke. Maybe he was going to the bathroom. We don't know what could happen. Now obviously other parties will play a factor in that, as far as, witnesses and, people who were on scene who got that little interaction. You don't know what the words were exchanged between Joe and the guy. The guy could have been like, blah, 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 blah. And Joe could have been like, whatever, dude. And the dude flinched at him. That's it. Or the dude could have been completely, sober and just being a jerk about everything and decided to flinch at Joe. And, I'd seen this on the internet too, that his shirt was cage, ring, or parking lot. So that plays a factor. You as an individual, that also plays a factor, especially when it gets further down the line. If it goes to court, all that gets brought up. That's going to go against Joe. Joe's history of being a professional fighter for, X amount of years, that's all going to go against Joe. And that's what he has to realize. Now, granted, if he felt a certain way that his life was in danger, or if he felt that his life was threatened, by all means, defend yourself 100%. I have no problem with that. But just be aware that if you're a pro fighter out there and someone steps to you like that and you knock them out and you put them unconscious, it's going to come back and it's going to get brought up. They're going to say, oh, you could have shot for a double leg. You could have just de-escalated the situation. You could have kept your distance. You could have, backed up. You seen that this guy was clearly intoxicated, and you can't handle an intoxicated fighter or an intoxicated guy at the bar when you're supposed to be a world-class athlete who gets paid to fight against other people who are trained, and you can't just take care of some random guy in a bar. So there's a lot of things that play a factor in it, and it just sucks. It sucks. It's a whole big shitty situation.